Morning, Texas House lawmakers are making final votes to give homeowners tax breaks. This comes as the state pays some of the highest property taxes compared to other U.S. states. GMAT's Marshall Farmer is here to explain what kind of tax cuts are on the table and how it may impact your wallet. Good morning, Marshall.
Good morning, Deanna. Lawmakers are hours away from voting on reducing property taxes. The vote would increase the homestead exemption limit, which lowers taxes paid to public schools. One bill being voted on today would increase the homestead exemption to $140,000, up from the current $100,000 cap. Another bill would increase the exemption for disabled or older homeowners. That exemption would become $60,000, a major increase from the current $10,000 amount. Now, for homeowners, the proposed tax breaks could save you hundreds of dollars. Texas lawmakers are trying to cut around $51 billion over the next 2 years for property taxes. And if passed into law, the tax cuts would take effect starting on the 2025 tax year. Now, earlier this week, House members voted almost unanimously to approve these bills. It's likely the final vote will be similar. If signed by the governor, the public will need to vote on the tax breaks this November. Deanna?
All right, Marshall, thank you.